So like when I say what it is,
and then we
YouTube.
Right. All right. We unmuted? Yep. Hey, what's up, YouTubers?
Hey.
So as you can tell, we were arguing about...
We were yelling at each other.
We were arguing about chocolate milkshake or strawberry milkshake.
Chocolate.
It's obviously chocolate.
What did I say, strawberry?
They don't
what
even
about vanilla?
have strawberry. Like,
What about vanilla?
no.
Why would you have...
Have you ever had Brahms banana milkshake?
It's chocolate or it's the highway.
Yeah.
Or
get out.
Yeah. Wow. You're pretty serious about your milkshakes, aren't you?
I like my chocolate milkshake because it brings all the boys to the yard.
Do they bring the boys to the yard?
You know, and oftentimes they're like, it's better than yours.
It's better than yours, yes. All right, so we are here for Disc Golf Answer Man. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We're getting some of the final stuffs taken care of so we can record the audio podcast. If you are not subscribed to the podcast, make sure you are subscribed to our podcast on iTunes or Stitcher or on Spotify or any popular podcast app. Just search for Disc Golf Answer Man. That it's going to be changing here pretty soon.
Ooh.
I never got a link for this one, so I didn't get to share it yet.
I'm about to share it as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a link for that you can share
I
out to
got it
everybody?
right now.
So I've been talking to Clay about some website changes so we can get the final stages of the new name for our podcast. And if you're wondering, well, I'll talk about all that on the audio. But anyways, be subscribed to that. I just did a interview with Jason Wilder. He's from Team Dynamic Discs, and he talks about running his Twin Tower Throwdown. I think it's called. Twin Town.
Because of the Twin Cities.
Oh yeah, Twin Towers. Close.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I think
That's the worst slip you could make.
I know.
I also
I know.
I think
Oh, no.
So anyway, I interviewed him about a beater that he runs out in Minnesota.
I think Billy English is going to be there to
Billy
perform.
William Eyelash will be there. Oh, no.
I will sip on my caffeine because obviously I need more.
We are already off the rails.
Anyway, he answers some questions. He kind of walks us through the process of running a tournament and a little bit about a Veterans for a Vet and a really interesting format.
What's the format?
He called it the Solstice.
He told me about this, and we're going to play this tomorrow.
You are?
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. So make sure you tune in to listen to it because I think it'd be kind of a cool thing to do at a maybe a league night or something like that.
I love the idea.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome.
All right. We got everything up and running, Anthony.
Where are you sharing to?
My personal, and then
we're good. Everybody
Twitter.
good on YouTube as far as volume.
It seems like it's working. Let me double check.
All right, cool. We shared that. Has everybody
Wait,
shared
do
it
we
out?
have Anthony on the microphone? I'm kidding.
Do we need to share it out?
I shared it on my page, and I'm about
good.
to do it in the fan page if you want to do the group.
Do that. Share that out, if you would please.
Seth says there's some weird feedback coming through. Do you guys hear that at all?
I don't.
Me either.
maybe it was just Bobby talking.
Good point.
Could be. Is that the feedback you're hearing?
Did you say you were doing? Are you sharing it to anything, or do I need to?
No, I'm not doing anything.
Okay, I will. Do
I am not doing it.
I am doing nothing.
I am doing the no thing.
Off answer, man.
All right, people are saying the volume is good. Volume's
All right,
good. Sounds
good.
great.
Hey, do we have any
Noise.
Speakeasy? Did you look this
Speakeasy?
We have
Is that the new thing?
Speakeasy.
We do not have
back in the
speakeasies,
50s.
no.
Was it 50s?
The
Prohibition?
roaring 20s.
Speakeasy.
I was gonna say I think it's before the 50s.
Is that the feedback you heard? That machine going
that's-
off?
Yeah, that's the guy next to us.
We heard that go by this morning, and Clay was like, "Hey, somebody stole your Honda." Yeah, that's what my car sounds
Oh,
like.
is that Mazda kid? That
Yeah.
dude, so annoying. Yeah, we've got about 4 speak pipes, so we should be good.
Pardon me, it's Speakeasy.
Speakeasy. I like that better than speak pipe.
Yeah,
All right, we're just gonna
Bobby,
call it Speakeasy.
Speed Pike.
I found very irrelevant. If you want, we can. I found the rule that you were talking about before with the XFL.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
It's 5 2-point conversions.
So
it's sort of like a shootout in hockey.
gotcha.
Dude.
We were talking about the new XFL rules and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I haven't read any of the rules yet, but I've heard about. Doc Zen gave us a $2 super chat.
Thank you,
What's
Doc.
up, Doc?
Out of the gate, he said, "Congrats, Robert. Number 2 pickleball champion of all time.
Nice.
Of the 9 people that were there, I was the number 2 pickleball champion of all time.
There's only 9
pickleballer?
people that showed up?
In
Or
my
your division?
In my
okay.
division.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. One of whom I was never going to beat, no matter what happened. He was incredible.
How'd Dixon do? Didn't he go?
Yeah. I actually had to knock him out of the tournament.
Ooh. You did what?
I think he would have gotten 5th. Somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much prize money did you come home with? Like
I-
3 new pickleballs?
I came home with no
well, it's merch.
no
like,
prize
I thought it was
money.
a merch payout. I don't know.
No, there's actually no payout. But I do have a silver medal that has a pickleball on it. I should have brought it with me.
How
why
much
didn't
was
you
the
bring
entry
it?
fee?
$25.
Oh, that's not too
So you got a pickleball.
Oh, you did get a pickleball.
I got a. This was
Now-
a players pack. I'm back to
now-
player pack days.
Now, yeah, that's what I was asking. Now, is this pickleball, was it one that you had to use during that, or did they have
No.
official pickleball?
They had official ones. It was a
You
certain
got
type,
a pickleball?
They gave him a
one
pickleball for his player pack.
which is cool.
Are you going
An
to use
outdoor
it, or are you
pickleball.
going to hang it up?
I'll probably hang it up with my
'cause it's
silver
your
medal.
first.
Yeah, that's right.
First
First
ever.
one. And a dry fit shirt and a pull string bag. So that was the player pack.
Oh,
Then
pull
they-
string bag.
Yeah, solid.
Mm.
I'm
Fancy.
I'm never going to use it, but some people will.
Hey.
And then they gave away 2 pretty nice paddles and 3 $50 gift cards to a different manufacturer. So it was pretty cool. I didn't win any of those
Whose
things.
dry
That
fit
was
was it?
stupid. It was just like an event specific
Oh,
dry
it's
fit with
event
the
specific.
sponsors and everything. Yeah,
Crazy.
it was dope. We had fun.
That's awesome. I want to go. I want to play in one. I want to play an event. I want to get a pickleball.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'll
we
sell
ready
you
to record the show? Huh?
I could sell you one.
Got 20. I've got one for $25. That's how much I paid for it.
Yes.
Let's get it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. And I have Robert, world champion pickleball McCall.
The world champion portion is incorrect.
Right, so yes, it's very incorrect. And Eric McCabe, who is a world champion.
Hey.
McCabe.
Hey,
that
what's
part
up?
is correct.
Hey, what's
Not in pickleball, though.
Freaking
No.
dang it.
No.
All right, so we are here on January 14th, Tuesday, recording our episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. Ready to answer your questions, ready to have a good time. But speaking of pickleball, people know from your social media, Robert, that you did participate in a pickleball tournament out in Iowa?
Mm-hmm. Council Bluffs, Iowa. Just
Which is basically Nebraska.
basically Omaha.
Other
Yeah.
side of the river.
Okay, so so went out there with Dixon Jowers and competed in a tournament. Got second place. Congratulations
Thanks.
to Robert McCall.
It was super fun. I had to put together a pretty decent losers bracket comeback because I lost my first bracket play to Evan Hoffpower. I don't know if you guys have ordered much from the disc store, but if you have, he works there. Or I guess he's doing something different now, but he's worked there for quite a while. Super cool dude. We went to 3 games and I lost. So then I had to put together a losers bracket run. Won 4 in a row there, including my second game against Evan. I was down 14-9. And we were playing 1 game to 15, 1 by 2, and dug in my heels and brought it back to win 16-14. So that was sweet. And then beat the guy who got third place, Lionel. I was down to him 11-4 and brought it back to win 15-12.
Nice.
And then just got absolutely smoked in the gold medal match because that guy was really good.
That's cool.
It was fun, though. I had a good time.
So, no, you did not download the wrong podcast. This is not the Pickleball Answer Man. This is still the Disc Golf Answer Man. But pickleball is something that me and Robert have picked up and we really enjoy, and it's good stuff.
And that we will be playing later tonight.
Yep, absolutely. Eric,
What's up?
you have been doing what? Designing courses and
Like this weekend?
yeah,
Oh. I watched a lot of football.
Yeah.
it was a good football weekend.
It
was a
was.
good football weekend. That's
yeah.
really all I did. I mean, granted, there was only a couple games. There was a couple bowl games as well, but no, watched watched some football this weekend. And what else did I do? Jeez, don't feel like I did I took kind of a lazy weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't talked since we went to Winfield, did we?
We haven't talked since we went
Oh,
to
okay. That's what I thought.
That was Friday?
You guys got out of the van. You're like, all right, I don't want to talk
We're
to you
done
anymore.
until we talk on Answer Man.
Until I have to talk to you.
We haven't talked about it. Me and Eric
No,
went out to
yeah.
Winfield, Kansas for the farm at Quail Valley for a kind of a last check-in on the course they have out there.
And they were pouring tee pads, so we wanted to get some footage of them pouring tee pads and do the final walkthrough. We hadn't been there since they did some more tree removals, and oh man, that course! I'm
really
telling
It
you,
looks
I
super
can't say
cool.
enough good things about this place. If you're anywhere near this course, you're gonna have to check it out. It will be one of, if not the best course in the state, in my opinion.
Can we say anything about when the event?
Sure.
Okay.
There is an event on January 25th. That's a Saturday, correct? January 25th.
I can look.
January 25th, I
Yes,
believe.
it
Okay.
is.
That is the food drive event that's going on down there, KDGA food drive event. That'll be like the first event that happens there. And then the official like ribbon cutting, official like inaugural tournament, like sanctioned event will be hosted by us, and that's going to take place March 13th, 14th, 15th that weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna go out there.
We're
and
going to
do
take
some
the RV
video
down,
stuff.
and I'm excited for that. I can't wait. And this is going to be one of those courses. You know how, when people come to town, we used to be like, hey, where do you want to do this weekend? Let's go to Kansas City and play. Well, I'm going to start driving south to this course to check it out because it's phenomenal.
yeah, I'm anxious to play.
Props to Tyson and his dad and the whole crew for just busting their butts because I can't say enough good things.
How far is it from us?
It's about an hour and 40 minutes or so.
Okay. So about the same to Kansas City.
Yeah, about the same.
Cool.
There's kind of a hidden gem there too that me and Eric discovered on our one of our trips
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant called the Shindig,
Shindig.
and
The
it's-
Speakeasy.
and it's and it is like because of course Winfield is how many do we figure the population?
4?
4, yeah, about
I don't know.
4 people.
It's very small.
It's small.
Million.
It's tiny.
But this restaurant is like you were in Kansas City. Just
Seriously?
really nice.
Huh.
It used
it's an
to
old
be,
train depot.
Yeah, and they
is what
fixed
it
it up.
is, and they fix it up, and it's a restaurant. It's
That's
like a
cool.
microbrewery. Almost.
very good food.
Yeah, we've been there 3 times.
Very good food.
Is that right?
Yeah.
3 times now.
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah, first time I had some pork chops, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time I had a pulled pork salad, excellent.
Come on now.
And some sweet potato fries,
Mm-hmm.
very good.
Were they made from actual sweet potatoes, or
They
were
were
they
made-
fries flavored? Okay.
You know my theory.
Yeah,
on that,
I
right?
do know that.
Okay, my
That's why I'm
conspiracy
asking.
theory. Yes,
Yeah.
no,
They're
they were
good.
real sweet potatoes.
Yeah. I had the yard bird.
Thank you,
which is
Anthony.
just chicken.
Yeah, it was just chicken, but it was still good.
It was chicken
Yeah, it was
with
good.
asparagus.
So
on the
anyway, so
side.
if you're going to plan a trip out there, make sure you check out the Shindig and tell them
They do
that.
not endorse this by any means. The Shindig, like they don't pay us to say that.
No, they don't. But tell them we sent you,
Yeah.
It's just unsponsored
They will
airtime.
know who
and
we
they'll
are.
have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, those guys.
All right. So, and myself, let's see, the weekend I went and spent some time with the family for my birthday and for my dad's birthday, and then came home and watched the Chiefs game. That was an amazing game. Just for the first 5 minutes.
It was an amazing game, with, unless you're a Texans fan.
This
Yeah,
is true.
it was
My
tough.
bad. Yeah, my apologies. It was an amazing game for Chiefs, but even still, it was a good game.
It was
Just the first
ridiculous.
I think 5 minutes, the Texans were up by 21. I think it
21
was.
nothing. Yep.
And I was like, what? Okay, well, this is going to be one of those games where like just
Nothing's
upset the whole
going
time
right.
as a Chief.
And I'll
fan.
tell you, 2 of those scores by the Texans were, I don't want to say flukes, but kind of a fluke. I mean, a block punt and then
Oh,
a
yeah.
fumbled punt.
Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff is just a bummer that it happened.
Yeah,
But
so anyway,
yeah, it was.
That's
great.
what I did, and then I'm preparing for my cruise that I will be gone for the next 14 days in Florida and on a boat, spending time with Ty. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at Uncle Bobby Jr. so you can kind of follow along those adventures. And of course, I'll be posting stuff on our DD
And make sure
stuff.
you follow me as I'll be on my boat following, as we discussed a few weeks ago. I'll be following the cruise ship
Oh, okay.
on my boat.
Oh, that's right. You'll be I'll wave at you from
And
the,
make sure and
while I'm
follow
sipping
me
on my margarita.
as I report on Eric
Right.
Yes.
following
Yes.
Correct.
the
Yes.
cruise ship.
Yes.
How many times are you going to listen to I'm on a boat?
Full circle.
It's going to be on repeat.
It's
They don't have cell coverage on the boat.
Give you my entire.
So you got to
paycheck
download it.
If
So the only
I'm
song
king of the
I
world.
download, the only song I will download on my Spotify.
I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
You have all your nautical themed Pashmina Afghans ready to go.
I do.
Okay,
Yes, I do.
knew.
So,
I freaking knew it.
fair enough.
Anyway, so it's going to be good times while
T-Pain
I'm on the
gonna be
road. Yeah. All right. So once again, you have not downloaded the wrong podcast. This is not the football Answer Man nor the cruise Royal Caribbean Answer Man.
That's
This
what
is
you
the
think.
Disco. That's what I think.
That's the new name. This is the time we decided to tell you. Royal
Gotcha.
Caribbean.
Hey, I want to remind you guys, we've been talking about it, but just so you know, there's some changes happening here on the Disc Golf Answer Man. We're going to reveal the name of our podcast probably when I get back, once we get some other behind-the-scene things taken care of. I've talked to Clay about some website stuff. But the reason we're doing that is because we're we're working to bring you content that's going to help you be a better disc golfer, and that's going to be through information, interviewing the players, interviewing people that work in disc golf, and then some other topics that we can discuss, just like the one we did last time where we made the statement of all OB lines should be painted. I think we got a lot of people discussing that. So make sure you join our Facebook group if you've listened to that episode. You want to give us your opinion on it. Of course, we got another one for today's after show as well that we'll talk about. That'll hopefully get people talking. So stay tuned for some changes. Now, as far as if you're a subscriber, that won't change. You won't have to download any new podcast. You'll just have to continue subscribe, but it's just going to look a little different, and it's going to have a different name, but it's going to still have the Disc Golf Answer Man and more content coming at you. Another thing I'm super excited about for all you Glassbone Open attendees and competitors, we're going to have some special Glassbone Open episodes that I'm really looking forward to producing, so it'll be fun.
It's going to be good.
Going to be good. All right, you guys ready for
And a special GBO specific. We don't have to get into it, but
Oh, yes.
something special is
Something.
happening.
It reminds me of like your favorite show that you watch is
I Dream of Jeannie.
no.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
No, like Conan O'Brien or Jimmy Fallon or the late night shows. They go somewhere and they do something special.
Mm-hmm.
They do the,
Mm.
and then we're gonna,
Yep.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
We talked
All
about it
will-
in the show.
All will be revealed soon.
Yes, all will be revealed. All right, let's get to the disc golf
This morning
questions.
we talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this first one comes from Garrett.
Busy selling courses.
I was.
Respect.
This is about disc choice and disc wear.
Ooh.
Hey, Bobby and crew. Oh, nice. That's the new name of our podcast. Hey, Bobby and crew.
No, it's
Just
not.
playing. It's not.
Spelled B-O-B-I.
I. Bobby. Why do most players choose to throw one mold with varying degrees of wear and stability instead of throwing less worn discs and different molds to meet the stability needs of shots? For example, why would Eric have 15 felons in his bag that may be more or less stable instead of throwing some other molds that are different stabilities without being broke in? Much love from Louisville, Kentucky, and keep it real.
Nice.
So yeah, why would you, Eric McCabe, have, I think, what do you have, 3 or 4 EMAC Truths in your bag?
Yeah.
Why that instead of a different disc that might do what that EMAC Truth does?
I think the reason that I believe, if I'm hearing correctly, what he's wondering is why would someone throw a beat-in felon when they could throw a getaway
Right.
that's going to fly similar? Right. Well, for me, it's believing in the mold, comfortability in the hand, consistency. It's the same grip, same everything, and it's a disc that you beat into that level. So there's just something about those discs that you have in your bag that are a certain mold that don't fly anywhere like they used to. There's just some bit of consistency with it, or you've had this disc in your bag its entire lifespan. So it's just something that you can really believe in and know exactly what it's going to do. I mean, I have 5 or 6 discs in my bag off the top of my head that don't fly. Like, I have enforcers in there that don't fly anything like an enforcer. It flies more like like a trespass or something that I can get it to hold to the right because it's been in my bag for so long. I just can believe in that disc and know exactly how it's gonna fly. And I personally would rather have that familiar feel in the hand and trust in that disc that I know what it's going to do, as opposed to grabbing a disc off the shelf that I know is going to be a little bit more understable to fill that role. It works in a pinch, but in order to pull that disc off the shelf the longevity of that mold probably won't last very long. So I like to keep something in the bag a little bit longer.
Yeah, same for me. That's a good example for me is the blend wardens that I throw for straight shots and turnovers. I could throw a deputy. I think my blend warden probably flies a lot like a deputy at this point. But I've thrown it so many times that I'm comfortable with it, that I know what it's going to do. And so I choose to do multiples. Although I bet I carry more different molds than most. But I still carry multiples within each mold. So it's not like I have 20 discs in the bag and it's 18 different molds. But if I have 20 discs in the bag, I probably have like 10 different molds or 12 or some. I don't know. I'd have to go back and count.
Gotcha.
I think some people do that method as well. The multiple discs, the different molds, and I just like to keep a simple bag. Is kind of how I look at it, I guess. The less molds that are in my bag, the less decisions I have to make on the tee. And when I'm standing on a tee, and if I have to decide between 2, 3, 4 discs, that's when you start to bring doubt into your head. And if you just have that disc that you know can make that shot, use that disc.
Yeah. Oh, it's an EMAC Truth shot? Perfect. I'll throw EMAC Truth.
Oh, it's not an EMAC Truth shot?
I'm
an EMAC Truth anyway.
I'm leaving the course. Who designed this?
I'm writing my governor. No. All right, guys, I want to remind you. Go ahead.
No. I'm just dying.
Just want to put it in there.
I'm just coughing. That's all.
Laugh.
Is this
Yeah.
when
Bobby can't have the last laugh? I must say something funnier. Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
you're
Thank you.
running for governor?
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, thank you.
Dang.
That's what I wanted to put in.
Wow.
Okay. Now this segue seems awkward. So the Winter Marksman League, remember guys, that's still going on now. January 13th, which has passed, was the last day to register a new league in your area, but we still have leagues happening right now, and those will go up until March 1st. You can go to dynamitedisc.com/WML to see if there's a Marksman League in your area. Someone just told me, Jason Wilder, in fact, I'm going to reach out to him, see if we can get a blog article. Someone in his area has won the last 4 Winter Marksman League, 4 in a row.
Bro.
So we're thinking we could reach out to him and kind of get his story to see what's going on there. But remember, you can go to the UDisc app and look for the Winter Marksman League tab or link, and you can kind of see how you stack up against other players that are out there. Remember, that's dynamitedisc.com/WML. Next question comes from Sean. All right, guys. Take a breath. This one's a long one. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Firstly, thank you for all you do. Love the podcast. Love how you guys continue to find ways to change it up and give new and awesome content. Y'all are great. Keep on keeping it real.
Thank you.
I started my game with a straddle pitch/push putt as it felt more natural to be totally square to the basket, bringing the disc low between my legs into a small squat, then popping it up. After experimenting with a staggered stance and a straighter push putt, taking the disc from between my waist and ribs and ejecting straight at the basket, it feels like that could be more consistent and or easier to aim. I've grooved the straddle putt to the point it is very comfortable, and in consideration of that, any results-based testing I would do would likely favor this pattern. I'm just wondering if you have any advice or tips on how to know when to switch styles or tests to gauge if one style works better enough than an already established style to warrant switching. Thanks, Sean.
Well, I can say something about this because I've probably switched styles more than Eric has.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, because
Have you ever?
spin to win.
Have you ever switched
I mean,
styles?
yes.
Well,
So
then there you go.
so then, once? Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's
okay,
one.
you've got me.
I would say there is a tipping point of deciding that a style could be more effective for you, but it has to be to the point where you think it would be so much more effective that it's worth getting worse before you get better. Because when you start doing that new style, you are not going to putt as well as you did before.
You may make like a handful, and that gives you a reason to want to switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're weighing the pros and cons and you honestly think that putting with more of a spin, kind of from a staggered stance, is going to help you be more accurate, then you need to commit to making the switch when you do, and just drilling that. Drill it. Okay? And there's going to come times where you think, well, I really need this putt. It matters to me a lot. I need to switch back to the straddle. Do all this in practice so that doesn't enter your mind in a tournament, because that's a really tough time to have that thought. But I mean, there are obviously pros to spin putting. You can be more direct to the basket. If you watched Eric putt before, it's pretty much a straight line, usually a little bit nose up that kind of rises toward the basket. And most of the time, he's got a good enough wrist that it doesn't fly by super far, so he's not left with long comebacks. It's also effective in the wind.
Sure.
That's probably the biggest advantage over the putt that you're talking about, where you're going from low to high. That's a lot more likely to be affected by the wind, though it usually leaves short comebacks if you miss.
Mm-hmm. It does.
So what it comes down to for you is deciding if that's important enough, if it's going to be a beneficial enough change for you to make it. Once you've made that decision, don't look back.
Exactly.
Drill it until you're confident in that, and then make your decision. Is that a big enough change for me to use this all the time? Or you can just use both. It's good to have a straddle putt and to have a spin putt, but make sure that you drill it until you're convinced that this is the style that's making the difference, not my confidence in the style.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you kind of nailed it with pick one and stick to it.
Yeah.
As soon as you determine which one you want to go with, and if that means putting together like a pros and cons list between the two, and just whichever one you decide to go with, make sure you stick with that one. And you had mentioned not worrying about blow-bys on a spin putt. For me, somebody always asks me, well, what happens if you miss and you blow by like 20 feet? Well, for me, it's all about being confident in your putting and knowing that I'm going to make that comebacker 90% of the time.
Right.
And just knowing that you're going to make that putt, and confidence in knowing that you're going to do it will go that extra mile.
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right, let's check out Speak Pipe. Anthony, can you cue it up for us and let us know who we got?
This first one is going to be coming from Shay Stevens. Possibly. Or it's just nothing.
Yeah, your computer audio turned on?
Yeah. Let's try it again.
There we go.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. This is Aaron from Massachusetts. First time calling in. Been listening to you guys for about 4 months now. So in the spring, me and my brother are planning a road trip cross country. He's from Vermont, so I'm going to go up there. We're going to cut across, visit my mom in Kentucky, and our ultimate goal is Colorado, because my brother's a photographer, so he wants to take pictures, and our grandparents in Arizona. And I convinced them to stop in Emporia on the way, because it's right in the middle.
Yes.
So my question is, besides playing Jones, Peter Pan, on one of the courses, and obviously seeing the store, is there anything else you guys recommend doing while I'm in town? Thanks. Bye.
There's definitely, if you can plan it out right, you can try to plan a tour of the warehouse. You can kind of see the behind the scenes of what we do here at the warehouse. Come by the Disc Golf Answer Man studio, meet some of the people that work here, and see the stacks on stacks on stacks of discs we have.
But that's real, though. The first time you see it, you're just like,
oh, yeah.
I didn't know this many discs existed.
Yeah, I think sometimes, I wouldn't say we're spoiled, but we get so used to seeing so many discs that it's kind of interesting to see it through new people's eyes when they've never seen this many discs in one place. And of course, there's restaurants that you can visit that we vouch for, and that's of course Radius Brewery and Casa Ramos. Let's see what's some other ones that.
The new Vietnamese place in town is really good. It's called GM Eats.
Yeah. It's pretty good. So that's a good place to check out. So
there's a bunch of good spots. It just depends on what you're into.
Have you been to that ramen place downtown too?
I have.
I have not yet.
Solid.
I'm not a fan.
Really?
I wasn't a fan.
time,
I've been twice now.
I think I've had too much ramen when I was in the Marine Corps.
Could be.
Ramen is.
I
I understand it's different.
It's good.
Right.
It is good food. I just
not my
sorry
thing.
if you guys are watching, but I think it's a little pricey.
It's fair.
Great, we just
For
lost a
noodles.
sponsor.
I am glad, though, that now that ramen place is up and established, that sushi is back open here at Shangri-La.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I had some sushi at Yokozuna in Tulsa.
That looked
That
incredible.
place is good.
So
That
good.
place is so good.
So
Did you see
good.
there's a new one coming to town? hibachi slash sushi spot.
Dude.
Where the old China buffet used to be.
Let's go.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I get down on some hibachi.
Oh, I love me some hibachi.
All right, so did we answer his question?
Yeah, a lot of food.
A lot of
And check out
lots of
the
eating
warehouse.
and the warehouse.
And play disc golf, obviously.
Yeah. All right, next one comes from Mark S. This is about T-pad selection. What up, Disc Golf Answer Man fam? Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Well, yes, we are having a wonderful day.
Don't
Thank you
speak for me.
asking. Oh, yeah. You're not having a wonderful
Nope.
day?
Terrible.
Oh, sorry.
Sucks to suck.
I'm
Did
just
you want some
kidding. I'm having a great
cheese
day.
with your wine. My best friend Grant my best friend Grant introduced me to disc golf just over a year ago. He's been playing for almost 2 years now. We've been discussing when the right time to switch from from AM tees to pro tees. Some courses we play don't have different tees, but others like Milo MacGyver do. Should we strive for a certain score according to the par before switching? Should we switch based on being able to consistently throw a certain distance? Does it matter? Thanks for any and all help on the subject. Much love to everyone at Disc Golf Ranchman, whether behind the scenes or not, except for Anthony. No, I'm sorry. He did that.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding. He didn't
Wow,
say that.
big time call out.
Just kidding.
What was his name again? I'm going to block him.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Just kidding. So a lot of courses will have different basket placements or tee placements based on
Or both.
skill level or both. When does one decide to go from the AM to the pro?
Well, first, I don't like calling it AM pads.
Oh,
Yeah.
I prefer them to just to be
Long and
called
short.
short pads and long pads
okay.
because there's benefits to both.
Long and less long pads.
Yes, long and longer pads.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Switching it up.
I shot a 6 from the longs.
yeah.
Guys.
Boom.
Wait.
Roasted.
Yeah, but I saw it as 7 from the longers.
Dang it.
Ooh.
All right. Well, big time respect from me then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that there's like there's not a scale or anything like that you can go off of. I think it's just as soon as you start birdieing more holes, maybe. And you said Milo, so Milo's going to be a different type of a beast because the
Yes.
Milo longs are. I mean, it's a pro course. It's a very pro course, but I would say as soon as you start maybe birdieing some more holes or throw a mix in there. You don't just have to go out and play all short tees or all long tees. You could just go out and play a good mix of holes. You know, if there's a particular hole that's just a lot more fun from the longs, play the longs. You know, and that's honestly how you're going to get better is playing a more challenging course and really, you know, being aggressive and just being worked, I guess I would say. Because if you just go out and you just birdieing all the time, playing all these short holes, short courses, it's really not doing anything for your game. Sure, you may have a good putting game or you know, approach game, but getting out and playing more longer holes is definitely going to help your game. Now, you don't want to dive right into it. I would say dabble here and there and have a good mix.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything that keeps you from once you play the longs to be like, this is it forever.
Yeah.
Now we play the longs every time. You can kind of just feel it out based on the day. But I do think, like you said, I think there's great benefit in stretching the courses that you play.
Mm-hmm.
If you only play those short, like if we only went and played Hammond every day,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we'd go shoot really well and then
2 under.
Yeah, at least maybe 3,
Maybe.
but then go out to, you know, Country Club or Jones East and just feel like you're just getting slapped.
Yep.
Because it's that much longer. So yeah, switch it up, give it a shot. And if you go play the longs and it's brutal and you're like, man, I hate this. Guess what? Back to the shorts.
Back to the shorts. And then throw some longs in there. Maybe play like 3 long tee pads around, and then you can jump up to 6 long tee pads. You know, just keep a good mix. There's nowhere that no one says that you can't just play a good variety. You don't have to play all shorts and all longs.
Yeah.
All right, so we have another question. Not another, but we've got an interesting question. This one's from Randy, and the subject he put in the subject line, he's a break-in skeptic.
Mm.
You guys ready
Consider
to
me skeptical of your skepticism.
You guys ready to defend your stance?
Yes.
My own personal hot take. Discs do not beat in nearly to the degree most disc golfers ascribe.
Okay, interested.
I've played roughly 150 rounds over the past 2 years since I've become more serious about it, and can't say I've noticed a perceptible difference in stability in the disc I've used the most during that time. Mostly all hard plastics like Lucid. Now, granted,
there you go. That's why it's the most durable plastic in the world.
I didn't systematically log flight patterns when I started, so maybe it's just gradual, and I've adjusted release angles over time to compensate. Are there any resources you guys could share to convince me that discs do indeed become noticeably more understable over time? What that time or number of throw scale look like? Any systematic controlled studies to demonstrate that? Much appreciated.
Honestly, I think it depends on where you play.
True.
Like if you're playing like in Kansas, you're probably not going to beat up your discs a whole heck of a lot, right? Because we don't have a whole lot of trees to hit. We don't have a lot of roads. Go to Arizona, go to Texas.
Yeah, like Circle C where there's rocks everywhere.
Around baskets. And
yes.
I mean, there's just ways that I think it just depends on where you're playing, what style of course you tend to play a lot, how often you play. I mean, there's so many variables that can absolutely go into this, but I think it also depends on the plastic. You had mentioned Lucid, and Lucid is our most durable plastic, next to Lucid X, I guess I would say.
Well, you said plastics like Lucid.
Yeah, of course, but that's
Fusion
would be the opposite,
right.
and in my opinion, Fusion beats in pretty quick.
A little bit quicker than Lucid, at least.
Yeah, quicker than Lucid. I'm not by pretty quick. I don't mean like I go play with it today and tomorrow the disc flies completely different.
Right.
A lot of it. There's just so much that goes into it. How many rounds you play, the style of plastic, the style of course you're playing. So there's just so much that goes into figuring out how quick a disc will beat up for a particular player. And a disc is going to beat up different for me than Bobby, than for Robert, most likely. I mean, we're probably pretty close to the same, assuming if we played the same amount.
Right.
It'd be an interesting take to see if we take a disc and take it out and we throw it the same.
Brand new. Both throw it on every hole.
But we can only play when we play with each other. These are the only times that we can throw this disc. It'd be a cool study.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, Resco, we got to go play disc golf.
Got some stuff to do. It's research. It's for work.
And we have to go to Milo today because we got to test out the Northwest.
Yeah, so see you in a few weeks.
Yes.
I'm going to disagree with your hot take here. There certainly are perceptible differences in a disc when thrown a lot over time. I mean, that's just a fact. Plastic, a disc starts off about as perfect as it's going to be before you throw it the first time, right?
I would say when it comes off the line.
Well,
as
yeah,
soon as it comes off the line, it just goes downhill.
Then it's just bad from there. No, but like if, let's say you have a brand new, let's say putting putter. Let's say you have a brand new Warden, right? And
interested
from the very first time that you have it, I mean, it's the top is perfect, the edges are perfect, it's exactly what you want. And then you putt with it a few times, and you see some nicks and stuff, but whatever, it still flies pretty much the same because you're just putting with it, right? Well, think about that over time.
Putting with it.
Say it again.
It depends on who's putting with it.
That's a good point. Yeah, if you're just hitting chains all the time,
or you're not hitting anything.
That's a good point. It may not wear in at all. You may just have grass marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as you hit more and more chains, you get more and more nicks, and when those imperfections happen, that's what causes the disc to be less stable, right? So they get little. Well, this isn't necessarily for putters, but all discs get these little micro waves in the rim. That's what causes the disc to not spin as perfectly as it did before, and then that's what causes it to be less overstable.
No, that's a putter. I think he was talking more about drivers.
The same thing applies to any of those. The more that you throw them, the less perfect they become. The more waves they get. The more, if you lay a disc right off the shelf right now, if you lay it flat on the table in front of us, it'll lay flat. It's not going to have a point where you could push on it and it would come up, kind of like a table at a restaurant that has uneven legs. It doesn't have that to start off with. But take you got to put napkins under the socks. Anyway, but
sugar packet.
Take a disc from our bag right now, like my oldest Explorer, and put that on this table. It's definitely going to have places where if you push on it, it'll be lower in some spots and higher in others. That's because it's hit some stuff. It's hit the ground. It's hit trees. It's hit rocks. It's done all of that stuff. So to say that there is no perceptible difference, my experience is much different than that. I have here's a perfect example. I have a orange Biofusion Enforcer that, I mean, we can all agree an old one.
Okay, those are good.
It's a great disc, but we can all agree Biofusion Enforcers are pretty overstable out of the box, right? I'm not going to force a Biofusion Enforcer to turn if I throw it flat. Like, it's just going to stay flat and finish left. That's the facts. This Biofusion Enforcer that I've had for a few years now acts like a trespass, or maybe even a little more understable than that, because it's so beat up and so imperfect now. That's what happens to discs. So I disagree with your hot take.
Yeah, I would disagree as well, because I don't have, I can't cite a website, or I can't cite a study that has proven this or disproved it. But what I do have is, and I can appreciate your 150 rounds over the past 2 years and you not noticing any differences. But what I have, other than research, is 10 years of playing the sport, being in the sport, and knowing people that have 10 plus years in the sport who that's all I hear.
Right.
Is that discs beat in, that people have a disc, they throw it, and then when it beats in too much, it doesn't do what they want it to do or need it to do. And so they move on to either a new mold, or they get a brand new mold, or a brand new disc in that mold, because of the beat-in effect, for the lack of a better word. So I wouldn't say it's totally anecdotal. I would almost say maybe a step or two above anecdotal, because there's no research. It's just based on personal experiences, but I've heard it over and over and over. Now, I have never interviewed all pros out there. I haven't specifically asked that specific question, but the numerous pros that I have talked to, that is the sentiment, is that discs beat in, and it's noticeable enough that changes are made when the disc gets to a certain beat in point. Now, sometimes they love it when it gets beat in. And that's the one they love, because it's beat in just like they like it. But sometimes it beats in past the point where they don't feel that it's an effective disc for them. It's not a bad disc. The disc is not gone wrong or gone bad. It's just not what they want that particular disc to do.
I will say that a disc's wear is probably slowed when you're newer to the sport. So let's say you go out to Jones East and you're not really hitting many trees, but all of your discs are fading out early. Like, they're not hitting a tree at
full speed,
terminal velocity. They're just kind of falling out of the sky. Things at that point, discs are going to wear in more slowly, because they're just interacting with the ground instead of something really hard. So if you're newer to the sport, your disc probably won't wear in quite as quickly, because they're not hitting things quite as fast. They're all kind of just fading out.
Sure.
Anyway.
Got it? All right, let's see what we got.
Good question, though.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Randy. I like talking about that. So, Anthony, what we got on the next Speak Pipe?
This one is from G.
The Gammy Family. It is G calling from snowy and moderately cold, not too cold, Vancouver, British Columbia.
BC.
I've been backpacking through India for these last 2 months. India is one of the few places in the world that don't have any disc golf courses. It's been a while since I've thrown a disc. I went out to the course yesterday, and my form is lacking, to say the least. So really my question revolves around that. And specifically it comes to approaching, which is definitely the weakest part of my game. So my question for you guys is, when you're standing 100 feet, maybe 50 feet away from the basket, and you're doing a standstill form, when you guys pull, when you guys reach back, do you guys keep your eyes locked on the basket the entire time, or do you just briefly look away to get that additional power? There's pros and cons to both, and I've been really flip-flopping between looking away or just keeping my eye on the basket. But I need a little bit of help here, because you can throw the best shot ever, you can be the best putter, but honestly, if you can't get your disc 50 feet closer to the basket, then you're going to be leaking points all over the field. So hope you guys can help me with that question, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What say you, gentlemen?
150 feet, 100 feet, I'm jump putting.
Yeah.
But 150 feet, like if it's an approach, I'll look where the basket is, the surroundings, trees, whatever, obstacles. I will not keep my eye on it the entire time. I don't think it's possible for me. I feel like it would just be kind of awkward to do that. So, and I'm not pulling my eye off the target to, sorry.
To get like a full.
Sorry, someone was calling me. I'm not pulling my eye off the target to get more power. It's just a consistent release. It's just the form that I use. I think keeping my eye on a target would be a little awkward in that scenario. But how I've worked on approaches through my career has been when I was on tour, anybody that I was traveling with, I would just get out and play catch with them for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever it is. And that really did help me focus on approaches because it's about the same distance that you would have normally for approach shots, and just playing catch back and forth with the putter gets the muscles warm. It gets your timing down a little bit, and it absolutely will, translate into disc golf approaches. I mean, how many times have you been to a clinic or whatnot and just heard play catch with the basket? It's kind of very similar. The only difference is on an approach, 90% of the time, I'm not trying to make it. I'm trying to put it on the pole, put it on the lock so I can just have a drop in and not have to worry about putting. So very rare will I be going for a shot from outside 200, and I mean, it's scenario, obviously. There's different scenarios in it, like what the backdrop looks like and all that if I need to stroke. But yeah, I'll take my eye off the target all day.
Yeah, I would say for me, same. And it's not so that you get a full reach back, but you want your approach to be like a half speed version of your full throw, without having a full X step and everything like that. But just because you're throwing a shorter distance doesn't mean that you shouldn't follow through and that you shouldn't still accelerate. You just for me, I just reach back a little bit shorter if I'm throwing a shorter approach shot. Instead of turning my shoulders completely away and fully engaging my hips, it'll just be half versions of that.
Most of my power comes in the second half anyway. The snap.
Yeah. I mean, and that's how
flick of the wrist.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
A flick of the wrist, like that.
I don't think it's
Close.
an Italian song.
It's not Luigi.
Okay. Mario.
You sounded like one of the brothers.
A flick of the wrist. No. Okay. Next question comes from
It's a me, Bobby.
Jean-Paul Tabat.
Oh, nice.
Jean-Paul Tabat. Talbot? Jean-Paul Talbot.
Nailed it.
Okay, this one, he says, "Hey, Eric, I have a question for you, if I may." Very polite. Thank you, Jean-Paul. Jean-Paul. I'm starting a drop-in league for our local course here in Spruce Grove, Alberta.
No wonder you're so polite. Canadian.
French Canadian.
Jean-Paul. It is a very small course, wide open, flat, but great for beginners. I want to start with a drop-in league to kick off some interest and see if we can get a bigger, more challenging course to complement the one we have. Yeah. Okay, I don't mean to sound... I'm probably going to come off really stupid, more stupid than normal. What does he mean when he says drop-in league? What is that?
All the spots are just 3 feet from the basket. You just walk up and...
You can't go to the next hole till you have a drop-in.
Style points. It's like the video we just put out about the Jones Gold hole with Melton, where he makes his putt outside the rocks and then goes and slam dunks his other one. Funny. Anyway.
It's just like a pop-up league, just like throwing something together.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's not like it's very...
I would think a flex start as well.
Not
you don't
super
have to start
organized.
So anyway, speaking of Jones Gold and Jack Melton, when he was out here, we did some filming on some of the Jones Gold holes. Make sure you follow us on Facebook or Instagram if you want to get some information on Jones Gold.
From a lefty.
Yeah. From a left-handed.
Okay, so back to Jean-Paul. I also plan on hitting schools and doing a summer drop-in league for the juniors to get them throwing and excited for disc golf. My question is this. I have a meeting with the city and community development coordinator next week. I want to bring up the economic impact of the ability to have tournaments here. Nice. Among the other positives of being outdoors and getting exercise. I do know you guys host one of the biggest tournaments around Glassbone Open. Not around. It is the Glassbone Open.
Well, no. The biggest.
This is the biggest.
Not one of.
Our city is not much bigger than Emporia, roughly 35,000. You guys are bigger than us.
By 10,000.
We're 28-ish when school's in.
Yeah, when school's in. On a sunny day.
We'll take all the people we can get. Thank you.
When there's no sales at Wichita or Topeka.
Yeah.
GBO time, we're 30.
Yeah, right. For sure.
So basically, he's looking for any tips.
for when was this sent? Do you have that?
It was sent on January 14th. It was sent today at 3:11.
Dang.
Jean-Paul.
Way to go, Jean.
Jean-Paul.
Paul. So what's he asking for? Tips on
He's presenting to the community and the city developers, and he's just, I guess, tips on expressing the economic impact.
Okay.
Yeah, benefits of having disc golf
Of
tournaments
course. And I'll tell you what, shoot me his email address too, and I'll reach out to him personally on that.
I will do that.
And as far as that goes, I mean, I don't know that we have too much literature out for that, but the PDGA has a growth chart and all that you can go and download and bring that type of scenario to them so they can kind of see the growth of disc golf at least. As far as events go, we have a package that we could put together, a course design booklet. I think it may be a little old. I think it's like a year or two old now, so we need to update that. But it does have the economic impact of the Glassbone Open and people coming to town, and not just for the GBO, but we've turned this place into Disc Golf Disneyland. You know, we have people coming in here all the time to come play the courses that they see online. And I think, you know, showing all the literature, you can show them videos even from tournaments, just that professional feel to it. And obviously I'll shoot you some more information.
Excellent.
And,
I've just shot that over to you on
perfect.
chat. So
Thank you. I look forward to speaking to you.
yeah, absolutely. There you go, guys. Personal service from Eric McCabe, course designer.
Something else for you real quick about the Glassbone Open is that the two biggest economic impactors each year in Emporia are the Glassbone Open and the Dirty Cancel, which is the big gravel race. So much so that our Convention of Visitors Bureau and Emporia Main Street, their focus on advertising Emporia to visitors is on disc golf and on cycling.
Yeah.
It's had that great of an impact on the city of Emporia.
There's 4 billboards that the city, like if you're driving down 35 and you see the billboard with me on it and it says come play around or something like that, and I'm putting, there's a basket. We had nothing to do with that. That was our city buying that advertising space to put up, and it's been there. I mean, it's been what, 6 years now?
It's been a long time.
5 years.
Super
maybe.
cool.
So it's kind of cool. And there's 4 of them. There's 2 disc golf related and 2 bike related, DK. So
yeah,
pretty awesome.
So huge deal there.
Yeah.
One other thing, we have a super chat from earlier. Mark Hill dropped $4.99 for us, and he put in the super sticker. It's a pair lifting some weights.
Nice.
Wearing a sweatband, and it says "Keep it up." Thanks, Mark. We will keep it up.
We will keep it up. Thank you.
Dude, speaking of keeping it up, I saw Bobby at the gym yesterday morning. He was crushing it. That's all I have to say about it. You're killing it.
Bodybuilding.
You're freaking killing it.
Well, not bodybuilding, but lifting weights. When I get back, I want to do a brand new program that I'm looking
crunching
into.
it.
So I'm crunching it.
Yeah.
Are you doing crunches?
Yeah, let's do.
Just
Okay,
Were
so
you doing a theme song? Was there a song where you're punching meat in a locker?
I want to be the very best.
Here
Or
I
did
go.
Like in what's that Andy Samberg movie where he goes out and just I can't think of it.
Hot Rod?
Hot Rod, when he starts swinging his arms.
That's right, yeah. Eric Oakley's calling me, by the way. Just
fantastic.
wouldn't be Disc Golf Answer Man without it.
I want to say one thing real quick on the city development and Glassbone Open, and we'll move on, is that I want to make sure you understand, and you may have already thought of this, but just remember that this is the 17th year, 18th year of
Something
GBO.
Like the 18th? I think 18th.
18th year. Remember, you go to your city, you tell them about Glassbone Open. Your expectations have to be set at a realistic level. You're not going to have what we have in the first 2-3 years. It took us 18 years to get that. Well, I mean, yeah, we're at the 18th year. I would say it took us probably 14 years to really get it to like big.
Huge.
I would say a little less than that.
You think a little less?
Only because I started the GBO 18 years ago and I ran it by myself.
Right.
As
the
a
first
90-person B
But
team
like-
or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But it wasn't.
And then when DD took over the event, that's when, 2 or 3 years go by. That's when we decided let's really grow this thing.
right.
And I obviously couldn't do it without DD and the support of the city.
Right.
So I would say, you got to plan for at least minimum of 12 years, 12 to 15, like you'd
To
say.
get it as big as that.
Yeah.
So, and just remember, if they say no the first time, cities always look at the next year. They're thinking they may be more open to it. They may have more in their budget. They may some other thing they had in plan fell through, and now disc golf can come in and kind of be that thing.
Yep.
So anyway, all right. So next question comes from Josh, and he says, "Hey, Disc Golf Answer fam. I've consumed the entire podcast library in the past couple of months.
Dang,
I was
bro.
hoping he said
Welcome
days.
aboard.
Crush.
Days, yeah, hours. I have a question.
Just sitting there.
I have a question that I don't believe has been asked yet. I'm having trouble with side hill lies. Not so much about the footing, but consistency of disc flight. My background is in baseball and ball golf. I'm an older player, 42. Oh, man. If that's old, I'm ancient. I've played disc golf since 99, but have only recently gotten serious about form and getting better. Robert will know what I'm talking about since he plays ball golf.
Yes.
In golf, on a side hill lie where the ball is above or below your feet, you can aim a little left or right to compensate for the way that ball comes off the club. Is there something similar with disc golf form for side hill lies when the hill is to your back or in front of you as you throw? I've noticed that my understable discs tend to fly more flat to stable when the hill is to my back. Right hand, backhand throws. I think it's a balanced torso angle adjustment thing. I'd love to hear what you guys, especially Eric and Robert.
Get got, Bobby.
I had to go through all that question to get dissed. Especially Eric and Robert have to say on this, uphill and downhill as well, just to be thorough. Thanks for the show and keep putting out all the content you guys can muster. It's very helpful. Jeez, I'm going to limit the character count again.
Nope, no limit. Let it ride.
Let it ride. Okay, so anyway, side hill lies. What do you guys have to say?
It changes.
I will take a short nap since he doesn't want my
depends
opinion.
on how severe the hill is as well. If it's a crazy, like, pretty extreme hill, I'll stand still all day long, and sometimes even forehand, because I can get a little bit more power behind it as opposed to a power and consistency, I guess.
Yeah.
And one other thing I do, and he did mention uphill, downhill. Uphill is one thing that I definitely do. Will run at it at an angle, as opposed to straight up the hill, like straight into the hill. Run at it at an angle and throw very understable if I'm throwing uphill. Like, I'll throw my roller disc high on a hyzer, and it will typically get a good flight out of it. But side hills are a little bit more challenging, I'd say, because you have no balance. So depending on what type of shot you need to throw, I would say majority of the time I'm standing still and throwing that shot.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. It's not so uniform as it is in golf, right? Because if the ball's above your feet in golf, you can pretty much count, if you're a right-handed player, you can pretty much count on it pulling left a little bit. And then if it's below your feet, you can pretty much count on it going to the right. For me in disc golf, I don't think I have as much of an issue with a hill that's sloping from high left to low right, because I just kind of stay on my tiptoes, and that keeps my torso at the proper angle. So the one that I'm thinking of is hole 1 at Lake Eureka, where they play Ledgestone. It's a super steep side hill, and so with left to right. And so when I throw approaches on that, the angle usually isn't that different from me because I'm kind of on my tiptoes. However, on a right to left hill where your heels are above your toes, that's the one where I struggle the most.
Same.
And I think that's kind of what you said, is that my disc will act a little bit more overstable. I think that's because you're naturally a little bit, you're forced either a little bit more forward than you would like to be, or it feels like kind of you're running downhill.
Well, gravity.
Yeah, and so the disc kind of wants to follow that. So
there's that whole gravity thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's much that you can do to compensate, other than if you're on that side hill, maybe you aim a little bit more to the right with the knowledge that the disc will act a little bit more overstable most of the time. But it's not like golf where it's just a natural thing. People compensate with their bodies a little bit differently in disc golf than they do in golf.
Sure. I think throwing
standstill is a great
standstill, or as you said, everything tends to be a little bit more stable. Definitely club down or disc down in stability, and see if that kind of helps. Throw a neutral disc like an EMAC Truth or another fairway,
or also an EMAC
like
Truth.
I
really thought you were going to say an EMAC Truth, or like maybe an EMAC Truth.
Or maybe an EMAC Truth. I don't know. No, seriously, like a neutral flying disc, or even something quite a bit understable on that side hill, just
like
because
a really beat-in EMAC Truth?
like a beat-in EMAC that's been in your bag for quite some time. Because naturally, obviously, as soon as you start to lose that speed, all that's going to do is fall.
Yep.
So.
All right, I want to remind people about veteransforvets.com. That is still happening right now. We just talked to Jason Wilder on a podcast that you'll hear, an episode you'll hear I think it'll come out next week. Anyway, he ran a very successful Veterans for Vets. Had about 54 people sign up and play. And it was very last minute. He just thought, I'll just throw it together and see what happens. He had 54 people. He was able to raise nearly $1,200 for his Disabled American Veterans Association out there locally to him. So, I mean, that's just really cool. You can raise money for a veterans organization. You can have some fun with your disc golf community out there. Check more details out at veteransforvets.com. Also, if you're nearby Emporia, Kansas, one of the more popular events we have here early on is the Monkey Island Open. Registration's opening on the 17th, I believe.
That sounds right.
Around noon on the 17th. Check out Disc Golf Scene. Look for Monkey Island Open. That's always a fun event we have here in Emporia. If you love coming to Emporia to check out the local scene and check out the disc golf scene, and you want to play a tournament, that's a fun one to be a part of. So make sure you get signed up for that. You can go on Facebook and search for the event. Put a reminder so it will remind you when it says tickets, that's why I say tickets, but when registration opens up, put that reminder in there.
Yeah.
Let's see. We
do
have
it because that tournament fills.
Yes, it
always,
fills. Yeah,
every year.
It fills. So if you want an opportunity to come out here early in the year to compete at Peter Pan, check it out. So some exciting news that you said we can talk about
Let's
right?
talk
Some
about
traveling.
Let's talk
okay,
about
so we've talked about Eric doing some course design. We talked about how he loves to travel to, he wants to go anywhere. He'll design a course just about anywhere. But to be able to go to unique places is really cool. I think we've mentioned it before, you going to Alaska and doing some stuff, but what's really exciting is they're going to have an event in July.
Yep.
And they're taking a few of us out there to take part in the event and to kind of promote it and market it and stuff like that. And I am super excited. We are heading out to Meyer Lake
Yep.
in Alaska.
It's in Wasilla, Alaska, which is about 45 minutes north of Anchorage.
They're going to have a C tier and a B tier out there that we're going to take part of. Me and Anthony are going out there to do some video work. Of course, Erica's going out there to, check in on his course and see how it plays. And
I'll actually be going out there in May
oh, okay.
and staying through July.
Oh,
wow.
Whatever. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
No, I'm going out in May for a week to kind of walk it and make sure all the final touches are all that good stuff and get some footage of the course, do what I need to do. And then July, we're going to go out and run the two tournaments. One's going to be a 2-day B tier, as Bobby had mentioned, the Meyer Lake Classic. And then the C tier is going to be Friday night. And this is going to be fun. This is going to be a C tier, and it tees off at 10 p.m.
What?
10 p.m. because they have 23 hours of sunlight in July. So we're going to do, it's called a Battle Under the Midnight Sun.
That's going to be so cool.
So we're going to be playing a sanctioned event at midnight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
So, of course, we'll have our disc golf adventure so you guys can follow along us having a great time out there. But it's just really cool. But if you're in the area, if you've thought about a quick excursion or something.
Or if you're not in the area and you're looking for that bucket list getaway, I mean, it's worth it.
Heck yeah. We'll put out more details when as we get closer to the time. Let's go ahead. Okay.
We have 3 SpeakPipe questions remaining, by the way.
3 of them remaining? I thought we only had 2. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump on and do a couple of the speak pipes before we end this episode.
All right, I'm going to retry the one that didn't work earlier.
That's why.
What's up, D-Game crew? This is Shay from Philly, and I wanted to ask about putting leagues. I'm currently 2 weeks into running my first winter Marksman League, and it's great. The venue loves having us. It's easy to run. And I also have to give a shout-out to Team Westside Disc member Chris Villa for helping me to promote it, and also graciously showing up each week to ensure that I never get first place.
He's a baller.
He's kind of good at the putting thing.
Mm-hmm.
As I said before, we're only 2 weeks in, and people are already asking, hey, can we keep going even after the league ends? So my question to you guys is, have you considered sanctioning other putting leagues for like maybe other seasons, like a spring series or a fall series with, maybe different formats, or, brand one under Westside, brand another one under Latitude? Also, a big advantage for the Winter Marksman League is how easy it is to run through the UDisc app, and I would love to continue running putting leagues or even solo sessions throughout the year and use UDisc to manage them. So if that's possible or that's something you've considered, let me know. Thanks for the input, and as always, keep it real.
I like the idea.
That'd be awesome.
I think one of the reasons that we haven't done that through like the spring, summer, fall is because of some of our other tournament in a boxes that we kind of have to manage, which is Trilogy Challenge, United States Amateur Match Play. We've done doubles match play in the past.
Right. And then the GBO, too.
GBO, Veterans for Vets.
All that stuff.
I mean, there's just so... And then, I mean, Monkey Island. There's so much stuff that we do that we have kind of our hands in, so to speak. But possibly. I mean, what does Rusco always say?
We're always working on something.
There you go.
Always.
Don't do that. Oh, that's what he always tells
Oh, yeah. Stop doing that.
Cut that out, Eric.
All right, what do we got for the next one, Anthony?
Stop.
This one is from
That's what he always
Trevor.
Enough.
Yeah, that's it.
What's going on, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? This is Trevor out at Avon, Indiana. Had a question about putters. I've been putting recently with a Triple S Wizard, and as you know, it has a pretty big bead to it. I've come to realize that I'm not really a beaded putter kind of guy. I was wondering what you had in any of the Trilogy lineup that would be a nice beadless putter that acts somewhat the same as the Wizard.
Wait.
Thanks for all you do. Keep it real.
Did you call this guy and set this up?
Yo. Will you call in and ask this question, please? Well, I've got quite the putter for you.
The guard?
It's called the guard. No. If you're looking for something that flies similar to the Wizard, I think the Wizard in flight is probably most similar to either the Judge or the Shield. The Judge has a bead just like the Wizard does. Mm-hmm. The Shield kind of has like a micro bead. It's not beadless, but yeah, okay. But if you're looking for the flight, then I think Shield is probably your answer. But the rounded edge that a Wizard has in a beadless feel, that's the Warden.
All day.
From Dynamic Discs. It's my favorite putter. It's what Eric putts with right now as well. Really straight, a little bit of stability at the end, so you don't have to worry about it, flipping on you in the wind or anything like that. That's the answer. It's the Warden.
Yep. I would agree with that.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
I'll pay you for that question
EMAC
later. So by the way, get you a beat up EMAC Truth.
So we have another one, Anthony?
We do have one more. This is from Jake.
All right. From State Farm?
From Cleveland.
Okay.
Hey,
Jake
Disc
from
Golf
Ohio.
Answer Man crew. Jake from Cleveland here.
Doesn't ring as well.
Question about tour fundraiser discs. I recently bought a Paige Pierce Lucid X Convict about 2 weeks before she transferred over to Discraft. I was wondering, does that money still go to help her tour, or does it go to other dynamic disc players? Just wondering. Thanks, guys.
That is a fair question. However, that is sort of like asking what I get paid and how I get paid. So
Hey, Bobby.
do we want to get into that?
What do you get paid?
Yeah, that's between me and
Okay.
Jeremy Rusco. So, not to sound like
Mysterious.
sarcastic.
We're
or
not
mysterious.
at a level of
Right.
our sport where
Yeah.
we
Where all
advertise
of that is upfront, yeah.
contracts, where we talk about that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, what do we got? We got one more question on the form. This one's on manufacturing. This is from Will. I'm a junior in high school, and I've really been thinking about making a disc mold for my senior project. Wow.
Dope.
I don't know where to start with my plastic blends or type of disc. Who should I contact for more help, and what type of disc should I attempt to make?
Dang.
He's serious. I don't know who you would contact.
About actually, like, does he physically want to make a disc?
That's what he
Or
says.
That's not going to be easy.
I mean, unless you use losers like a 3D printer, but that's not going to be anything worth throwing or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start with my plastic blends or type of disc. Who should I contact for more help? I mean, you might reach out for us. I mean, you could try reaching out to Thomas on Facebook Messenger. He might be able to get back to you, but I know that he gets a lot of messages, so he's very sporadic when it comes to getting on Facebook and stuff like that.
Right.
Definitely, what type of disc should I attempt to make? I would think a mid-range would be something that you want to start out with if it's you're introducing people to disc golf for the very first time. So, yeah. Any other input on that?
No,
Nope.
I think that's
Fantastic. Good luck, and keep us posted on how the progress goes.
Sorry we don't have.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I don't know.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
I guess give us more details too on what your
maybe that'd be
ideas are. Like, are you trying to physically purchase a mold and make a disc, or are you just kind of trying to show the physics and how a disc is molded, because that's two different things. I guess I would say.
Yeah, because if you're talking like a machine that does it, you're talking $500,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's worth it for your school
I think
project.
it's worth it for a junior high
You think
school.
it's for a school project?
Yeah, for sure. Especially if the school's funding it.
Right.
Come talk to us.
We might be able to take it off your hands when you're done for a discount. All right, guys. We have one thing that I want to play for you guys
for a discount.
Disc.
Somebody sent in. He said he didn't want to
Discover.
send it in through SpeakPipe, but he wanted to make sure that I got this voicemail. And I tell you, when I played the voicemail, I smiled ear from ear. Let's take a listen to it, Anthony.
What's up, Bobby?
You would like that.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I don't really have a question. I just wanted to do that. Have a good day.
So
Dude, that was awesome.
I know, wasn't that cool? That was so. Play it again. Play it again.
So that's your ringtone?
Yeah, play it again. Anthony. This is from Taylor.
What's up, Bobby? Yeah, I don't really have a
That's
question.
high production value.
That was pretty cool. So Taylor, thanks for sending that in. That was cool. That made my day for sure. I appreciate it very, very
consider me
much.
jealous.
Yeah. Do we have anything we need to talk about before we end this episode and move on to our new hot takes show? We'll reveal the name
Hey-yo.
on the episode.
New name.
Anything on the YouTubes we need to finish up with?
I think we're good for now. We
think we're good?
Save it for the after show.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the recording. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into the Disc Golf Answer Man show. Stay tuned for our new show where we talk about different takes on disc golf. If you are listening on audio, then you'll download it tomorrow. If you're listening on YouTube, just give us a few minutes and we'll check in with you.
But if you are listening on audio, make sure and go to,
I always forget that.
Robert. Go to our channel on there, whether it's on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Search Disc Golf Answer Man. Go ahead and hit us with the 5-star rating. If you are enjoying the work that we're doing here, we would love to see that review from you guys. When you guys give us those 5-star reviews, then that helps us to show up higher on the list when people go and search for disc golf. Yes. And we want to get to as many disc golfers as possible. So if you'll go in and post some 5-star reviews for us, 5 stars, we'd really appreciate that.
Yes. So subscribe, tell your friends, because we have so much cool content about to come out. Now you can hit end, Anthony.
Bye.
Beep.
All
right, YouTubers, give us a few seconds and we're going to move on with our new...
I had assumed you were just going to cut it off while I was saying bye. No, I was going to wait. You're just going to let it roll? I was waiting for you. We were playing chicken. Yeah.
I do not like this new setup for podcasts on iTunes.
Chaser, I have noticed that, and it's hateful.
What's that?
He said, anyone else notice how Bobby clearly angled the camera so Robert's face on his victory disc is glared out?
Oh, well, you have to blame Anthony on that.
No. It's a mastermind sort of thing.
Subliminal.
Hold,
Subliminal.
please.
What is it set up so it does what?
The disc is perfectly angled so that the light...
Oh, so the light falls on that? Yeah.
Boom, roasted.
See?
Did you fix the light? Did you fix the light?
I moved the light. The disc also moved.
Oh, no.
Chaser, this is my life, man.
Dang, sorry.
Oh, no.
Here's how about this for a review.
Okay, I'm ready.
Old friends. I love this production and all that contribute to it. Every week, it's like hanging out with some old friends. Sure,
French.
they talk more about trilogy molds and tacos than any other company, than other companies, but you can easily convert their discs to your brand of choice. I'm happy this podcast exists.
No.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. That was cool.
Cool, man.
Cool, man.
I don't know if I read this one already. Everything you need to know about the disc golf scene. The hosts have such synergy, knowledge, and enthusiasm, and manage to communicate as though they're talking with friends instead of generic listeners. I think I did read this one. This is probably due to the fact that they spend so much time answering listener questions. They give us several communication methods to reach out to them. I'm a casual player and a dedicated listener. If you want to learn more about discs, throwing, courses, rules, tournaments, and tacos with several spontaneous laughs scattered throughout, you found the right show. We are such good friends. All right, you guys ready?
Let's get to it. It's time.
All right, go ahead and hit record. All right, guys. So this is going to be kind of a different intro because we want to introduce a new show, although it's something we've done a couple times. It's going to be our hot takes, but we are going to call this Circle 2 because why was it, Robert?
Well, you see, the topics that we discuss here on Hot Takes
are not anywhere close.
They're not really right to the heart of all of the disc golf stuff, right? Like, some of the thoughts and ideas will be a little outside the box. We used to have a podcast called Inside the Circle, and there's a lot of talk about the circle. These are a little outside of that.
Right.
Circle 2.
Circle 2. So basically, we're going to give our takes on certain subjects, and then and then we will discuss them. Some of them will be kind of like Law and Order, where it's kind of close to things that have happened.
Yeah.
You know, even notice that Law and Order usually follows the headlines.
These are their stories. Dun, dun.
Some of them will just be outrageous, but we want to argue the point because we enjoy arguing with each other.
Yes.
No, we don't.
We don't?
Get got. Synergy.
Got him.
Like old friends. Anyway, okay, let's get to our first official under the new name, Circle 2.
How ironic.
I think that jump putting should be taken out of disc golf, out of sanctioned events, casual rounds. I am already loathing the social media posts on the first event where the first pro jump putts. So to avoid all this, I don't want to see another screenshot. I don't want to see another video frame by frame close up of someone's foot going away from their disc. I think we should just completely eliminate jump putts, and that'll just take care of the issue.
So I hear this point.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to take the other side of this. I think jump putts should remain a thing, but that they shouldn't be allowed until farther out.
Interesting.
Right?
What's the point? You're still going to get people that are going to
Yeah,
argue
you
about
are.
whether they really jump putt or not. They're gonna cite how many times Yuli jump putted in the past.
Yeah.
Why's it gotta be Yuli?
They always pick on him.
They do. Because he always puts faults.
Yeah, exactly.
You're part of the problem, Eric.
Exactly. You're the one analyzing frame by frame.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm going to disrespectfully disagree.
Dang. Wow.
No, go on.
Okay, I think for me, if we are going to have jump putts, then I think they should start farther out, like 50 feet or 60 feet, or even at the edge of Circle 2. Because inside of that, I think it's a skill to be able to stand still and putt a 45-footer that's different than stepping through it, right?
Sure.
So for somebody, I don't mean to pick on Chris Dickerson, but he's one of the best at this specific skill. He's one of the best jump putters out there. And so from 35 feet, it's almost better for him than putting from like 30 feet because he can follow through with his momentum. I think there's more skill in standing still from 50 and just sending it.
See, I think you nailed it with skill, because it is a skill, and it's those people that can't do that should have that advantage, in my mind. It's no different than throwing forehands. I suck at forehands. We should eliminate them.
I'm about that.
We should eliminate all forehands.
Can't throw any more
backhands only. No thumbers, no forehands, no rollers.
So you're saying just because something takes skill, it should be allowed to be done?
Sure.
Oh, I mean, I think it creates more of a skill gap. So how does it work if we don't have jump putts? Then what's the distance?
That's what I was going to ask.
There is no distance. You just
no. Okay,
but
listen.
Finish.
Okay, but
I'm
what's the
200
distance?
feet out
Yeah, there you
in
go.
the fairway. I can't do a full run up
You
and
can't
throw.
step
I
past
just got
your
to
line?
stand still and throw the shot. So we're going to
Correct.
completely.
So you
everybody wants disc golf to be more difficult. They want higher scores.
Okay, but in this scenario, you're saying that you cannot follow through past your lie, ever.
Yeah, ever. Not even off the tee.
Because that's the only way this works, unless we set a distance. So, like, let's say that you say,
let's say you say
100 feet.
Yeah.
then from everything outside 100, if you're running up, you can step past your lie. But inside 100 feet, you have to.
No, you can never step past your line.
Period.
Period.
I feel like that's bringing injuries into play.
Okay,
Why?
Robert,
I would agree with
what
that.
about this?
Okay, I'm interested.
They standardize the tee box. All tee boxes have to be 6 feet by 4 feet.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of you getting whatever it is, 21 centimeters and 11 centimeters,
That's a really small tee pad.
you get basically a tee box,
get a
a standard
tee-pad.
tee box size behind.
Okay,
Then you can throw from
that I could get on
3
board
feet
with.
back.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I could 100% get on board with that on everything but actual putting.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the reason
Yeah,
for
but
that.
you're not going to do that.
Why would, yeah.
If you're that close, you're not going to need it.
No. Okay, so
Some
all right,
people.
here it is. You have 6 feet behind the disc and 4 feet, 2 feet
so
on
you're
either side.
You're saying laterally
Yeah,
get out from behind a tree or something.
right. So
Yeah.
that's part of the problem with that.
Okay.
Fair.
But
So fine, you still have to be in line. You just get 7 feet
Behind
of
it.
relief from your disc to
where
7
you
feet
can run
directly behind your lie.
where you can run
Yes.
up and you can say so in this scenario then like a smart player would plant 4 feet behind the disc and then they
Yeah.
could still follow through but
Yes.
stay behind the disc.
Yeah, so James Conrad is planting 7 feet behind his disc and then
Almost
following through for 7
following
feet.
through
Yeah.
over his disc.
Man, I don't see that's a tough one for me because then I feel like you're opening yourself to more foot fault calls.
That's gonna be very difficult. That's gonna be more difficult to police.
I agree.
Why?
Because if you're talking about online, like if you're directly behind a disc, it's way easier to say that person was behind the disc or not. But from 7 feet away, it's much more difficult.
Okay,
to say
so
that.
Robert, it's a cone. It comes to
Okay,
a point at your
I'm
disc,
interested.
and then it widens the farther back.
Okay, now I'm interested.
Speaking of
I'm
making
not.
things easier.
Everyone carries
Let's
a
keep it more
cutout of
simple,
this
yeah.
cone.
Exactly. Yeah, you spray paint it
It's-
behind
it's-
your eye.
It's
All cones should be spray painted.
it's it's in your PDJ rule book, and you know how they have the those
like
books
phys-
that
Oh
open
yeah,
up.
it's just like a
Yeah.
17
Yeah.
fold page.
yeah, unfolded from your PDJ rule
Okay,
book,
I like
It's like
it.
a tape measure.
and then you can fold it back into your
Yes.
book. Yep.
Okay. That's a terrible idea. I would be in favor, though I think it would be a mistake to outlaw jump putting at all. I would be in favor of moving circle one farther back to where if you are going to jump putt, it needs to be farther from the basket.
I think I'd be okay with that, moving the jump putt circle back. But you got to keep in mind those. Can you imagine trying to paint a circle?
Oh, yeah.
For those TDs that still paint circles, if it's 100 feet.
Oh God.
Oh, that
yeah.
would suck, yeah.
I mean, you just couldn't do it. It'd be impossible to do that. You know how much paint you would go through doing that? Granted, nowadays a lot of people don't use paint; they use whiskers or something else, flags or something in the ground.
Well,
But
Jerome in the chat says branding, and so now for sale is the 66 2/3 feet circle to circle, only available at Dynamic Disc.
Hey, sounds
Get,
like
get it now on dynamicdiscs.com.
Get it now. Get it April 1st.
Yes, yeah.
.com.
Yeah, come back on April 1st.
I don't jump putt. Very rarely will I jump putt unless I'm outside. What would you say? 80 feet?
Yeah.
60, 70, 80, not even 60. 60 I'm still standstill putting. But
Right.
So for me personally, I have no if jump putting went away, you wouldn't see my game change whatsoever.
Right, yeah, it'd be
Unless
the same
it's
for
the
you.
scenario that Bobby's bringing up where I have to stop and stand still or can't proceed past my disc. I apologize.
We out here.
We out here.
Good thing it's the
No,
after show. Hey, do we have the disclaimer available? That would be impressive if you could, by the way. Anyway, moving on.
Goodness. You know
Moving
what I mean.
on.
You know what I mean.
Eric, you're officially muted for the rest of the show.
Yeah, can we?
I mean, that gives me
point.
how much.
He did mute you. All right, let him finish his point.
Injuries. I think you're going to definitely be more prone to injuries because you're going
Yes,
to
I
have to
agree.
stand still and stop, put that much momentum into just coming to a complete halt, which is definitely dangerous for the knees,
Yeah, I agree.
legs, back, all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm willing to risk other people's injuries so that I don't have to see or read about people arguing over whether that was a foot fault or not.
I will say that the huge benefit of your proposal here is that we no longer have was this a foot fault? It was called at the time, or it should have been called.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like the dumbest part of that whole thing is that people post that video and they're like, yeah, it was a foot fault. It should have been called. Or no, it wasn't a foot fault. It shouldn't have been called. If it wasn't called in the moment, it might as well have never happened.
Right.
It's true.
So it's super useless to post videos like that.
Right.
Anyway.
All right. Well, that's our Circle 2 for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to post this on the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group.
Let us know.
We want to know your opinion. What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts if jump putts were not allowed anymore in the PDGA sanctioned events? We're going to go wash out Eric's mouth with some soap.
I apologize.
It's unintentional soap,
I
okay?
apologize.
We will see you guys next time.
Bye.